Brothers in Tech is a weekly podcast focused on personal and home technology, helping provide you, our fellow brothers and sisters in tech, with some information, assistance, and recommendations. It's that time again, time for the Brothers Show and Tell, in which they try to outdo each other by bringing them more useful or impressive tech suggestions. Apps, devices, websites, or services. We just try to impress each other with new and unique tech that just may be useful for you too. It's the Brothers in Tech Suggestions, or BITS, episode. Hi everyone, welcome to Brothers in Tech here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson, and to my right is Brian Jackson. How you doing, Brian?
Good, Alan. How are you doing? You're getting better at that. To my right. You're getting better.
Well, I'm getting better. I'm saying to my right, even though I know if you're listening on audio, it doesn't really make any difference. But on the screen, you are to my right, and that's how people will see you. But that's my brother Brian from across the country, but he and I get together on a regular basis and talk technology, especially as it relates to home, family, and personal technology. And we try to cover different topics every time we get together. It's kind of some helpful hints, some talk throughs, some suggestions. Today's episode, though, is one that we do maybe every month or so. We try to do every 4 or 5 weeks. And that is our Brothers in Tech Suggestions episode, or as Brian so skillfully named it, the BITS episode.
The BITS, yes.
Because that's you see, that's an acronym. It's BITS.
Yeah, tell
Brothers
us
in Tech.
How is that? How is that genius? So tell us more, Alan. I mean, BIT is what?
See, what Brian did is Brian took the title of the episode and looked at the first letter of each word and said, "Wait a minute, this makes a word. This makes a word that is somewhat related to technology, with it being bits and all." So
look at that. Look at that. Right?
Not bad. It's pretty smart.
Yep.
But
let's be honest. We do this every month, but you and I look forward to it every single episode, right? I mean, I think when we start sharing tips, we're usually like, "Is it time for bits yet? Time for bits?" This is the one I like. I like all of them, sure, but this is the one I always look forward to because I'm someone who likes to hear about new technology, even though normally what you bring is not that exciting. But I like to share what I've found with you and impress you. And so this is good. I'm excited.
I like to come out of this, see if I spend any extra money that I hadn't planned on spending by hearing other suggestions. So we've got 2 items each that we're going to bring up as kind of our suggestions for the episode. It can be anything. It could be an app. It could be a gadget. It could be a tech-related tool. It could be a website. Anything goes as long as it's kind of in the family of technology and something we think would be helpful or people might want to check out as well. Now, Brian, I'm going to do something. I'm bending the rules maybe a little bit with this because I'm not actually giving a suggestion about a particular product or site or app or anything. I'm just giving a helpful hint of something you can do that I just learned today. Now, if you're out there listening or watching and you knew about this all along, or if you've known it forever, or please don't tell me. Let me believe this is something new that I'm breaking to the world. But just give me this if you can. Is that all right, Brian?
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, should we be creating a new category? Should we have a whole new episode for the BITH?
Maybe.
The Brothers in Tech helpful hints or something? I don't know, the BITHs.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, go ahead. Okay. I'm just going to sit and think
Brian,
about why you do that.
BITS was really good, but man, don't push it. Don't push it.
All right, bring it.
I'm going to go through my first Brothers in Tech suggestion is truly kind of a helpful hint idea. And this is unfortunately just for people on a Mac. So if you're not a Mac user, I apologize. This isn't going to have a lot of value to you. But Brian, ask yourself, how many times have you been on a Zoom call or even on a video conference like this one? And how great would it be to be able to easily show the contents of your iPhone or your iPad or some other device you've got as inside this video conference? Like, meaning, hey, I want to show you something really quick, but it's on my phone or it's on my tablet, or I want to show it to you that way, and just have it pop up and be a screen that you can present very easily. Does that happen very often for you?
Let's pretend
it's
like
okay
it does.
If you say no.
Sure. No, it does.
Sure.
It
just
does.
tell me it does.
Well, there's Yeah, on an iPad, on a phone, there's all sorts of cool stuff that I'd love to be able to show.
So here's something I learned just today. I was preparing for another video I had to work on, and I needed to get a image from, I wanted to actually show my phone the interface, and I actually wanted to show it to somebody. Hey, you need to press this, and then you need to go to here to show them how something works. And I know there's some other tools and software I could have gotten that would allow me to do that, and some other kind of a lot of crazy ways to work it out. But on the Mac, you have an application called QuickTime Player. Okay, it comes standard on every Mac. It is it's mainly the program you use for playing back movies, movie files you may have on your computer, but it also allows you to record things. So if you needed to do a recording on your own webcam on your Mac, you could use QuickTime Player, that app, and do a new movie recording, and it's going to use your FaceTime camera by default and let you record a video from that camera. So it both plays back videos and it records videos. But one thing I did not realize, which is a great little tool here. So I'm going to share my screen over here.
Oh, please do.
And
are you sharing your phone or are you sharing your computer screen, Alan?
No, this is my computer screen first.
Okay.
But I'm on my QuickTime Player application. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I've got my iPhone here, okay, and there's something I want to show on my iPhone, but I want to show it to you in a video conference setting like Zoom or anything else. What I can do is, let me see, I'm going to pull up the right one here. If I go on new QuickTime Player, and if I say a new movie recording, just like I would do if I was going to do a new camera recording of myself, I actually have an option. If my phone is physically connected with a USB cable to my computer, where I have my choices of cameras, I can go with my FaceTime camera, which is my video camera, or I'll be able to choose my phone. And when I choose my phone, there is my phone interface. And if I move through the screens, it looks through there as well. Now, here's where this is key. Okay, that's nice in itself, but inside of Zoom or any other video conferencing app, and I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, if your phone is connected that way through QuickTime Player, or it could be your iPad, works the same way. In Zoom, you're allowed to go in and say, I want to share a screen. You could share your whole desktop just like I shared, but you also have the option of sharing things from within a certain program like QuickTime Player. So if you actually went in and said, I want to share my QuickTime Player window, then all of a sudden, I now have this where I'm actually sharing my phone interface right here for you. As I'm going through it, I can easily show everything here. I can go through, I can actually, show you exactly what I've got going on here on the phone. Very nice and easy.
By the way,
the same thing works with
super gutsy of you to show your phone and have people calling out like the fact you've done no exercise today, and the fact that you really need to update your software and all that. I mean, that was gutsy. That was gutsy.
I'll be honest. My fitness today, it's pretty weak because I've been sitting at this chair all day working on stuff. So nothing to write home about there. But I just love this because what it is basically that QuickTime Player. You have the little window I can pop up and say, I want to use my FaceTime camera instead. So I can actually change to that. Or I can use the iPhone, and inside Zoom or inside any other video conferencing, you can do a share screen and choose the QuickTime Player app. And you have a nice presentation of your phone or your iPad ready to share. Yep. I just think that's great because I'm going to use this for our next suggestion because I've got something on an iPhone to show, but it's just a much easier way for me to use. I did not know with QuickTime Player that I could actually pull up the phone or iPad screen as a video input on a new video recording. So that's my suggestion.
Now's the point in time where your brother would love nothing more to be able to say, I knew that already, but I did not know that. I did not know.
Well, I got you.
That was really, really cool. Now, what I would say, just to add to that, or maybe to make a caveat, you mentioned you could do that with Zoom. Zoom is kind of unique in that if you were to plug your phone in or your iPad in with a cable, it gives you that option to share from it anyway. But what you're saying is that the fact that QuickTime becomes its own image or image source, it doesn't matter what application you're using, right? Any application, this can now pull. It's almost like a new video source, right? It's
pulling a new video I know source. Zoom has that capability. I've used it before, and sometimes it's a little jankier. It can be than a little others.
Wonky. Yeah.
But if you're in a WebEx, if you're in a Microsoft Teams, whatever, that allows you to share your screen from a certain application on your computer, then you can use the QuickTime Player as kind of that universal app to always show your phone or iPad screen, as long as it's physically connected to your computer and pulled up as a video source.
Yeah. To me,
again, I just thought it was nice.
I'm more interested in that as a way of, creating some videos of the use of your phone, right?
Well, there's that too, because
how I do is how I do screen recordings all the time. I've even done that for classes where I'll pull up a presentation and talk through it and let QuickTime just do a recording. And of course, there's plenty of apps where you could do recording of the iPhone on the iPhone. But the beauty of being able to be on your Mac and then have a recording of, what you're getting. So this is your iPad?
Yep, that's the iPad there. So same idea. Yep. All I did is just plug it up instead of the iPhone and chose it on my QuickTime Player as my input source. And here you go. You're right. Recording videos. I mean, being able to say I want to record on my Mac, I want to record me talking through a video while I go through my phone. Let's say, perfect example, Brian. Let's say you want to give a how-to to somebody of how to do something on their phone or iPad, and you need the audio as well. So basically, but you want to do it on your Mac. You want to sit here and kind of walk through it. Use QuickTime Player. Say you want to do a new movie recording, and it by default, it's going to want to use your webcam, and you can start with your webcam. But then as long as you've got your phone plugged up, say, okay, now I'm going to flip to the phone, choose the phone as your camera now, and then it's still picking up your audio, still getting your microphone sound or your audio here. And you go through and do a tutorial on the phone or the iPad, and then you stop recording, save it, and you send it to somebody. And now you've done a kind of walkthrough tutorial without leaving your Mac. You're right here kind of in your main computer setup to do it. So again, I know there's other ways to do it. I know there's other tools to do it. Yes, Zoom has some ways to build it in automatically. I just like the fact that it's a universal kind of solution to allow you to do things. I just did not realize you could do that through QuickTime Player. So it's kind of excited to see that as a video source in your recordings for a lot of different purposes there.
So Alan, do you know when you choose that that source as your phone or your iPad and you're recording something, is it getting the audio from your laptop microphone, or is it then to the iPhone?
Nope. In QuickTime Player, that's another nice thing about it. You choose both your video source and your audio source.
Great.
So I had it by default still using my computer microphone, or in that case, this microphone. So again, I can talk through the video even if I'm showing a phone or iPad screen on the recording. So again, really nice, not only for video conferencing, but also for your own internal recordings. I have made a few kind of walkthrough videos for people to show them how to do something on a phone. And I've had to use some other tools and software to allow me to record my phone and my voice simultaneously. This is much better, much easier. Don't know why I didn't even know it was an option, but that was my little geek moment there. So figuring that out.
QuickTime is one of those applications that just doesn't get as much love, doesn't get enough love, right? I mean, it can do so many things. It can take the part of a lot of these screen recording apps that people are using, and it just works. So, I mean, to me, not to get you too excited about this, but this is kind of the perfect Brothers in Tech suggestion, because all of the people that we work with, that we're talking to, that are basically being called about technology problems and want to then walk someone through how to use it on their phone, this is the fantastic way that you can do that, right? When my family, everyone in our family contacts me to try to get help with the technology, because they are contacting me and not you, then I could actually make recordings of the phone and then not have to tell them all individually. I would not have to get on a phone call with them. I'd have to just say, here's a little recording to walk you through it, right? So,
right. No, I agree, because it's the same situation when they call me after they've called you and what you gave them didn't work, or the solution kind of crapped out on them. They call me. I do the same thing. I just say, look, I'm just going to, not only do I have to do a video to show you how to do it right, but I also need to send you a video on how to fix what Brian told you to do and repair that as well. So I completely agree. I completely agree.
The demented world you live in is pretty amazing, but
anyway, but that was good. Was a little non-traditional. That was a little non-traditional. It was more of a tip, but it's just something I stumbled across today, figured out, and was really surprised. So anyway, that being said, Brian,
that was so much better than what I expected from you. So that's excellent. Good. Okay, well, I'm gonna jump in.
What have you got?
I'm gonna change gears a little bit, and so you went with a helpful hint. I'm gonna go with an actual device. So I'm gonna share in just a second the specific device that I have used or the version of this, but I want to preface it by saying there are plenty of these out there, and I think my suggestion really is the fact that they are out there, and I didn't realize how easy they were to use and install. So let me set the stage here, Alan. I have my wife and I have a couple of cars. She has a Prius, a Toyota Prius, and if anyone has a Prius, and of course we're in the Northwest, so you have to have a Prius. It's kind of a prerequisite. But if anybody has a Prius, they'll know, especially around the year we have a 2010. The headlights are pretty horrendous, right? They're just not very good at all. And living in the Northwest, we get a lot of fog in the mornings. We get a lot of rain. We get times of the year where we're both driving to work in the dark and driving home in the dark. And then we also get the occasional, obviously a lot of moisture, the occasional fogging up of your headlights. People have recognized they get moisture in their headlights and stuff. So I was under the with the goal of trying to increase her headlight performance, right? Try to make it so her headlights work better. I went through, I probably over the last several years, I've gone through every headlight bulb that I could find that keeps saying this gives you 20% brighter headlights and all of this. And they all seem to work just as poorly, or at least very minimal improvement. So I started thinking, obviously today's headlights are LED, right? They're brighter. You can usually see kind of the xenon and all these different versions of things that are really bright. A lot of them even have kind of a blue tint to them, so you could tell they're newer headlights rather than the old kind of yellow. And as you know, as your car ages, the plastic of your headlight gets more and more yellow over time, right? It starts to kind of age. So I started looking into how could I upgrade her headlights? Do I have to go and buy a whole new headlight assembly and, order it from Toyota to put in these brand new headlights? And that is one thing you can do, right? You can go and actually change out the entire headlight. The other thing, though, and I didn't realize that this could happen, would be that you could just, change the light bulb itself to an LED bulb. Now, initially I didn't think that was the case because they're different power sources and everything kind of is different about these. But I actually found that is a thing now. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there that know much more about this than I do, or have used it much more than I have. But Alan, I'm going to share with you a screen here of the versions that I have used. All right, so this is through Amazon. These are the actual headlight LED swap outs that I have used, and they're by C-Light. What's really cool about them, is that, as you can see here, so if you're familiar with changing your headlights, or the actual headlight bulbs, it's usually you go in and reach the back of the headlight, twist it, take it out, unplug this kind of L-shape, bulb attachment from the wire, switch it to a different one, twist it back in, and put it in place. Well, what you're seeing right here is exactly that, right? This piece will screw right into where the headlight bulb goes. Now, the difference is that LEDs are taking a completely different amount of power than your normal halogen lights would, and they're actually taking a lot less power, right? So what you have to do is this part back in the back, you see the plug outlet at the bottom there, Alan. that is what the wire inside your car, what would normally have plugged into the headlight, the bulb, is now plugged into this, which has a small wire to this little box that says C light there. And then the box has a wire that goes to the bulb. So all it is it's adding an extra wire in between the two with a little conversion box. And that conversion box allows it to change the power so that it can work for LEDs. And you'll see here, this was $40. And the difference in light is unbelievable. It's night and day. Literally night and day, right? I put these in and I wasn't even sure if they were going to work. I was just concerned, like, okay, can you really just update to LEDs with the same exact bulb setup? And you can. And the brightness is incredible. So it changed from my wife. She was super, super happy. And I'll tell you what happened. I changed these one day for her. She tried them the next day and she was like, oh my gosh, so much better. So I went the very next day and ordered the high beam version of these. So she now has the low beam and the high beam versions, the LEDs, so that she has plenty of brightness as she's going through the dark roads. And it was super easy, super, super easy. And again,
that's amazing that you can do that.
Yeah, this is the 2010 car that you can change from halogen bulbs to LED bulbs. Now, there are some people that get really nervous about, they despise the blue lights of the LEDs, some of the newer ones. And these aren't really that. These are more bright white. There are some, I think, that have more of the blue tint to them, so you could tell they're LEDs. But there are all sorts of different versions of these out there. The other thing I'll mention really quick, just to kind of a downside of this, Alan, is that I did read some reviews that said in some of the newer cars. So if you have a car that, let's say, I'm guessing here, maybe a 2015, 16 onwards that has older versions of light bulbs that you want to upgrade to these, the computer systems on the newer cars are smart enough to recognize that when you put these bulbs in and you turn on your car and turn on your lights, you potentially might get an error on your screen that says there's something wrong with your headlights, because of course it's only pulling a small amount of power and it thinks the headlights are going bad.
It thinks something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Luckily, the 2010 Prius was not new enough for it to have any sort of errors. It was fine. And if you have a car that has that issue, there are little adapters that you can get that will, on the backside of this, reconvert the power signal to kind of fool your computer into knowing or to thinking that there's not an issue. But it's fantastic, right? I've actually tried. I've told our parents to go to your son, who's a big car person, to say, upgrade their old Volkswagen that they have, because again, just any headlight over time, the glass on the outside or the plastic is going to get discolored, and so naturally your headlights get lower and lower. And of course, there are ways of sanding those down and clearing them up and everything, but this is a way of just enhancing your lights. So,
if you go LED, it's longer lasting as well than the traditional.
Longer lasting, less power. Lots of.
This is all good.
So
that's great.
So I would encourage people. I would just say the C light. I've done 2 of them. I've done the high beams and the low beams, and they have worked great for several weeks now. As you can see, if you're looking carefully, I think I bought these back in December, so that's for several weeks now, and it's been fine. But there are multiple products out there that do the exact same thing. So, if that's something that you'd like to improve with your current car setup, then then you can do that. I will just mention really quickly, just reading a lot of the reviews on this. One thing to keep in mind is they can get really hot. Okay, these converter, the bottom part of the light supposedly gets really hot. So do look for one that says specifically heat dispersion, or has the metal heat sinks at the bottom. That was what the metal part of the bottom of that light was, is so it just disperses the heat out so that it's not going to cause a heat issue. But
sure,
a lot of them just look for metal, look for the fact that it's metal, and look for the fact that it says heat dispersion. And some of them have fans. Because of that, they'll have an internal fan, and I've heard that that's problematic if you're in a moisture environment. So I got the ones that didn't have fans in them. So just
Very cool.
More of a tip there than anything. This is something I certainly suggest for older cars that want to upgrade their headlights. Easy way to do it.
So. All right. Cool. That's great. It's good. A good idea. So it's pretty easy for you to go in and do that. And I mean, I know it seems like there's a lot of wiring involved and all that. So, I mean, but in all seriousness, it was a pretty easy process to do.
Super easy. Yeah. Like I said, if you have switched out your headlight bulbs before, reaching in, twisting it, taking it out, swapping it out. This is the exact same way. The only difference is that cord in between.
Right.
They do get, most of these will come with zip ties, little zip ties, and they just ask that you zip tie that up to a piece of metal close by so that it's not banging around and shaking around. But super, super easy. And in fact, it was actually, I'd say, even easier than some of the light bulbs that I've had before. So there you go.
Nice. Yep. Very good. All right. We've been some very non-traditional kind of picks we've had so far, right? So me, kind of a helpful hint on the Mac, you getting into the car and doing some upgrades there, but still good tips all the way around. I'm going to share now a recommendation. My second one is a app, and again, it's going to be iPhone, but I think there's an equivalent, very similar on the on Android side. I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to be talking about, so my family all got, my kids anyway, my boys got Apple Watches for Christmas. It was kind of the big gift. They've been really wanting a Apple Watch for a while. And they've been having fun keeping track of a lot of the fitness side of things. So that's been their big thing is, they're sharing their fitness data with each other. I've got 3 boys and all 3 are sharing their data with each other and kind of competing to see who's doing better on different fitness goals and all that as well. The other thing that they've been really fascinated with, and it's kind of got me watching again, is our sleep. And I know that with the Apple Watch, if you wear your Apple Watch to bed, it will do some sleep tracking. There are ways to do sleep tracking even if you don't wear a watch to bed. You can have the phone next to your pillow or in a way that it picks up sound. But I think the most specific data you can get on sleep is going to be from a watch type device on your wrist, obviously.
Yep.
So we've been playing around with different sleep apps. I've tried probably 5 or 6 different ones just to kind of see what really works for me the best and what kind of gives me the most information. And the one that we kind of settled on as a family that we all kind of use, and we are using it to kind of help track each other's sleep a little bit and make sure we're all getting good sleep and making sure we're all getting good, healthy sleep, is an app called Sleepwatch. And I'm going to go ahead and share the window on that here. Give me just a second. I'm going to do the same little trick I showed in my previous set and try to get this phone pulled up.
Or you got it? Yeah.
No, I've got it. I've got it, Brian. It's fine. I'm good. Here we go. All right. So sharing the iPhone screen now. Wow, the Sleepwatch app is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. And, I forgot this does a...
look at that. This makes it wide, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the narrow view. Okay. So there's a lot of sleep apps out there that'll help you analyze your sleep. I really like this one for a couple reasons. Yeah, it does have a free and it has a premium version. I'm doing the free version and it's enough. It's enough for me to work with. Basically, like many other sleep apps, you can go in and kind of set what your goal for your sleep is per night.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's going to come back and give you a nice report. It's like, obviously, when your sleep start time and finish time was, it shows you how you did towards your goal. So like, for example, here, I got just under 6 hours of sleep. It's about 85% of my goal. And it does show me that, hey, over 3 days, I'm 66% under my target over the last 3 days. That's obviously something I need to work on. But it also shows you all the rhythm throughout your day or throughout the evening, shows you the combination of your disrupted, light, or truly restful sleep. One thing I've got going for me is all my sleep is mostly restful for the most part throughout the night. But you obviously see your sleeping heart rate throughout the night as well with that and any other activity you've got. What I think where this app starts to get really kind of nice too is it does show you the percentage of time that's your restful sleep as opposed to just your total sleep. Shows you if your heart rate had any dips throughout the evening, your 7-day sleep rhythm. your average sleeping heart rate. Now, there are some other things you can get with the premium versions I'm not using, but the thing that this app does, I think, is really nice is the next morning it pops up questions for you and will ask you, like, for example, how fatigued have you felt today? And you can just go in and start putting in tags of things you're doing throughout the day. If you're exercising, if you're working really hard on something, if you're at your office all day, you can put in little notes and it starts to collect all those tag notes so that when you start to track saying, hey, how did you feel? How fatigued have you felt today? It's tracking all this kind of in a pattern for you. So you can go back and see a lot of training to kind of map based on how much sleep you got. Where do you feel like you get the most fatigue or the least fatigue? So that really helps you kind of fine tune what is your ideal amount of sleep you need to be getting. Then you can set that as a goal and track that and see how close you are to getting your goal of sleep throughout the night as well. Again, it's doing a lot of stuff that a lot of other sleep apps do, but I love the interface. I love the dashboard view of it here. The fact that I can do a lot of things with the free version without having to go that premium version.
Yeah.
What the premium version will do is let you compare your stats against their database of stats and say, hey, your sleep is better than whatever percent of other people out there.
You can
and they give you a free they give you a few like a week of free of that, I think, the premium version, just to try it out. So I got a little bit of an idea of how it compared, but it wasn't valuable enough for me to worry about making into a monthly subscription on. But again, nothing truly radical from a sleep app. I like the experience. I like the fact that it's a lot more kind of probing and asking questions the next day and helping log all that information for you. It's very, very easy to use. It's a lot of good data. And again, we've had a good time kind of using it, and all of us kind of checking out each other's sleep and just saying, how are we doing in that department? So that is Sleepwatch. That's kind of the sleep app I'm using right now that I'm very happy with. And that is my recommendation for there.
That's very cool. So Alan, when it asks you the questions, so give me a little bit more info about that. So the moment you wake up and say, I'm up, does it start asking you right away, like, what happened yesterday? Did you drink last night? Did you stay up, do whatever?
It gives you a place where you can, it gives you a place where you can tag, kind of tell us a little bit about your day, tell us, and just start putting in some of those tag words. But it actually does an automated prompt, like after you've gotten up and been up for a little bit, it pings you with a question saying, hey, how restful do you feel right now?
How do you feel? Yeah, that's good.
How do you feel in general? And then later in the day, it can do a follow-up and ask how fatigued you feel towards the end of the day. And it's taking all that information and kind of keeping a nice running log of it. So you have some good information here where it kind of keeps track of your most commonly tagged details or actions. Anything that's associated with better sleeping heart rate dip, it'll kind of show you if there's anything associated. Now, some of this more analytics you can get into, you do have to pay for the premium version for, but
so that was something I remember enjoying, and I've never used this one, and actually would like to use something like this with the watch. I think the one I used to use was where I would put the phone underneath my pillow or I'd put it next to my bedside table. But what I did like is that I could start to realize that, hey, listen, when you have coffee on a day, you sleep terrible that night, or when you have alcohol, you sleep better, or whatever. So it starts to notice those trends, which I think was really, really helpful, because those are insights that you can guess about them, but to have some true data that says, I do not sleep well when I do this on a particular day, or if I don't exercise, I don't sleep as well. And those are some of the things that I think are really great to pull out. So this is great. Yeah. Love it.
No, it's a good app. Again, there's a lot more you could do if you paid the premium subscription. I'm not, but I'm still very happy with it as a free app and giving me the basic information I'm looking for on a regular basis here. So
And just on that note, Alan, you're somebody that puts your watch on for charging, I assume, right when you get up before you go shower and all that stuff. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that is a good point. So yes, I do wear my watch at night. I have got a Series 3, which the battery is just good enough to get me through the day.
Full day.
If I charge while I'm getting ready in the morning. So I typically charge it from the moment I get up, shower, getting ready, getting dressed, all that stuff. And then I walk out the door, I put it back on, and it will last me barely. I mean, I'm in the red zone by the time I'm getting ready to put it charged again, but it will make it through the day and the night. So
cool.
Yeah, if you've got an older Apple Watch than that, it probably will not make it through the day and night. So you typically have to charge it at night. Newer watches, newer than the Series 3, I think will actually do pretty good with charging a shorter amount of time in the morning. So,
or I've seen some people that kind of get creative about at nighttime when you're already winding down and maybe you're reading in bed or something, you charge a little bit and then put it back on before you go to bed. So you get a little bit of a boost there for those that you have the older.
If I can get an hour somewhere, about an hour, maybe 50 minutes to an hour, that normally gives me enough charging time where I'm good for the rest of the day and through the night so I can track my sleep. So,
cool. All right, Alan, that's good. Yeah, you were 2 for 2 today of things that were actually somewhat useful. So I'm
we'll go. Well, let's see if you can see if you're going to be able to bring it home or not with your last.
All right. So this one feels a little I can tell you it's incredibly helpful, but it's a very niche helpfulness. Okay. So Alan, we had a episode recently on how to look and sound your best online. So webcams and audio and all of that. And one of the things that I have an issue with is that because I'm in a particular room that the lighting of the room changes throughout the day, right? I have a big window over there to my left, and certain times of the day, the camera is going to look totally different than later in the day. And there's always that momentary piece. Someone sends me a Zoom link and I've got to jump on a Zoom that I'm like, okay, do I want to join the Zoom in order to find out what my camera looks like and then have to change it really quickly about the lighting or the brightness or the angle or whatever? Or can I do a quick check beforehand? Right. So the quick check for me typically is, well, I'll pull up QuickTime or I'll pull up FaceTime or I'll pull up Zoom and start a new meeting just so I can see like, okay, is everything sounding right? Is everything working right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what got me to, and I'm a big fan of menu bar apps, things that I can do a quick little keystroke and my calendar pops down, or a quick keystroke and my contacts pop down. I love those sorts of things. So I found and let me share it while I'm talking. What I found was an app that allowed me to quickly check and see how my camera looks before I jump on a Zoom call. And so what it is called hand mirror. And what it does is I have a keystroke. I have 3 little keys here that when I press them, from the menu bar drops down a screen or a little window that has here's what your camera looks like right now. So as you can see here,
that's great.
You press the little button and it drops down and there's how your camera looks. And so it literally takes me 2 seconds to click, see, okay, the lighting's good, click off, join the Zoom, and make sure that everything's good to go. So
that's great.
As you can see here, just kind of a quick way you can set it up to be a really small window that pops down, a medium window, a large window. I have it small so that I know it's going to be quick and snappy. That's super slick. So
Brian, I think so. Obviously, this is independent of any video conferencing app. This is something you would do.
Correct.
You do on your computer, pop up, see the little mirror screen.
Yep.
I know some Zoom calls, you get in, they allow you to, it depends on what the settings are. I think
before you say, okay,
you may have a window to see your own camera, but I've been in plenty of meetings where that was not set by default. And once you join the meeting, you're in the meeting, and instead of having your camera turned off,
or at least you're fumbling, right? Exactly, you're fumbling for a while trying to figure out. Oh, I got to change. And what's kind of cool about this, if you click, you can either click on the menu bar, as you can see the little icon up at the top there that looks like a mirror. You can either click on it, it drops down, or you can do the keystroke. And for me, if I double click or I right click on it, it drops down for the preferences, and then you can go quickly and say, oh, I want to change my webcam, because I also, having an external webcam, can see, well, what's it going to look like for my regular webcam, built-in webcam versus my external one. And so you can kind of quickly toggle through those to try to determine what you're using. But like I say, this is super simple, super slick. It's just, and it just works. For anybody who has that little bit of an issue, that niche issue where you're always kind of wondering, is my camera set up the way I want it right now before I join this Zoom meeting, before I join this FaceTime, or before I do whatever, this is a quick way to do that. And, and I guess also it becomes your own mirror too. So if you're like me, it's getting ready to head off to class, or you're getting ready to, turn around and meet with somebody that's coming in the room, I guess you have your own version of a mirror there. But for me, I think it's right before you join that call. It's super slick. So yeah,
no, that's great.
Hand mirror.
I like that. And say hand mirror.
Hand mirror, nice. And it works. A lot of these other little add-ons, I think sometimes will get a little clunky, but this one has worked super slick.
Works so good.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Not bad. I think we did pretty good.
We both did all right. Yeah.
Ryan with LED headlights for a car, which was cool.
LED cool. Upgrades. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got the hand mirror app for checking out your own video camera image before joining a video conference.
Yep.
I shared a little hacky thing through QuickTime Player on the Mac to record or use your iPhone or iPad as a source. Yeah. And then I also shared the what was the name of the app again? I already forgot the name of the app. Sleepwatch. All these names are so similar, but Sleepwatch is the name of this one. I wanted to bring up that I'm using to track my sleeping right now. So, nice. Brian, as always, we brought up some really good suggestions, some things people could check out, but there may be some out there people have that they want to share with us as well. So how can they go about sharing with us their suggestions, and maybe we can incorporate them in a future episode?
Yeah, so you can email us, as always, at info@themesh.tv. Send us a note. Tell us, some bits that you have or you'd love to suggest for us to share with the world that have made your life a little easier, or things that you think work really well. Or you can also go to our website, www.brothers-n-tech.com, and tell us, or find out a little bit more about what we're doing. As I said, the website's going to continue to evolve, but right now you can get access to our both our video and audio podcast, as well as you'll start to see some posts that'll pop up for some reviews that we'll do outside of our podcast. And then you can also contact us down with the contact form. So drop us a note. We've been super happy with getting some feedback through social media over our last few episodes, where people have come up with other suggestions. That's another way that you can kind of give us some info if you want to share with other people, and we'll try to pass those along. So we just love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what kind of things you're liking about what we're doing, what you'd like us to do in the future, and how we can create a better brother or sisterhood here. Good. Contact us.
All right. Absolutely. Well, this has been the Brothers in Tech suggestions episode for, I guess we'll say January. We're recording this in January. Yeah, it's recording pretty close. I think it's February as of the time we're actually right now, but the stuff was from January, so we'll go with that. But we will be back next week with another tech-related topic and some other ideas and things to share with you in the world of technology, family, personal, home use. That's what we're here about. That's what the Brothers in Tech are for. So thanks everybody for listening or watching, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.